I used to be in the BNP.
Okay.
Right. I was then I joined UKIP for Nigel Farage, and he's secular, but he's a Zionist, right? Well, I believe we have to find a path where Muslims and Christians can work together. I don't want to do what Tommy Robinson's doing, what Nigel Farage is doing, right? Because our country has been hijacked by Zionism for a couple of hundred years now. The British Empire, I used to be proud of it, was there to trade with the world. It wasn't there to enslave the world. It wasn't there to create the Opium Wars against China. It wasn't there to declare war on the Boers.
Have you heard of the East India?
The East India Company is the prime one I'm talking about, who Rothschild took control of.
Yes.
And we had a trade deficit with China because we was buying Chinese tea and they didn't want to buy nothing of us.
You don't understand the nature and the mood of the European people. European people are actually very specific in nature. What do you mean?
You don't even know European anyway.
Doesn't matter. I'm actually from European aristocracy.
We are a people, unfortunately, who are playing this geopolitical game, and sometimes we lose a few pawns. That's the reality. If you're going to play the game, you're going to lose some pieces now and again. And that's what's happened. I'm not a supporter of Russia, by the way. I don't like Putin. I don't like what they've been doing. I don't like what they did in Chechnya. I don't like Putin, right? But
you're not a Wahhabi, are you?
We're not an innocent bystander either.
What's wrong with those Wahhabis? I'll tell you that.
Well, look. What Putin's done for Christians is shown us how we can live with Muslims. Right? Putin is the template so that me and you don't cut our throats as Christians and Muslims.
I don't think Putin is the right person necessarily.
Well, look, the Chechens now are proud to live in the Orthodox. These two people are Russians there, right? We get them over here, right? They're proud to live and fight for a Christian country, and what they're at the front lines now in Kursk.
That's not the videos that I saw.
Well, they're there. They were working with the Wagner.
The videos that I saw.
They were working.
They were being taken on gunpoint on buses, and they were being chucked on the front line.
Maybe they were the Wahhabi ones, backed up by Saudi Arabians. Because Saudi Arabia sold out the Muslims.
You asked me if I'm Wahhabi. What do you mean by that?
Well, so it comes from. I mean, I'm not an expert on it, but I'll tell you what I know about.
So why do you accuse people of something you're not an expert on?
Who he is?
Who?
He was just a scholar, and I follow his methodology, and it's just a pure Islam.
I'm trying to work with Muslims, right? I don't want to go with Tommy
We like
Robinson.
to work with everybody as well. So why don't we have a nice conversation?
Yeah.
What do you believe? What do you believe?
Well, I believe we have to find a path where Muslims and Christians can work together. I don't want to do what Tommy Robinson's doing, what Nigel Farage is doing, right?
Yeah.
I used to be in the BNP.
Okay.
Right. I was then I joined UKIP for Nigel Farage, and he's secular, but he's a Zionist, right?
Yeah.
And if you listen to Nick Griffin now, they have sort of kicked him off of Twitter.
You saw the light then.
Well,
or partial light anyway.
Well, what Nick Griffin says, right? Nick Griffin, by the way, he hasn't been kicked off Twitter. His account has been
limited,
hacked. So, and he's not allowed to get back on it. But thousands of Muslims were starting to join him on Twitter because of what he was saying.
Nick Griffin?
Yes, because what Nick Griffin is saying is what I'm saying. We've got to work with the Muslims. Do we want to have a 30-year war like the Protestants and Catholics did in Europe?
What's your name, sorry?
Jamie
Abbas, yeah?
Abbas.
And this is Imran. So, right. Jamie, you know what it is, right? I believe as a Muslim...
Angus, come here with the Union Jack, please, because I'm not just holding a Russian flag.
That's all right.
Keep that up off the ground, Angus.
Angus, be proud of holding the Union Jack up. Come over here. Come on, Angus. Is that your boy?
These are my twins. I've got two sets of twins.
Nice.
So I'm Patriotic Twins UK on BitChute and Rumble. You see my videos.
So, sorry, you said your name was?
Patriotic Twins UK on BitChute and Rumble.
Jamie. I believe as Muslims, I've been working with Christians since I've been born here.
Yeah.
I don't see any reason why I shouldn't work with Christians. I don't see any reason why I shouldn't work with atheists or Buddhists or Hindus or anybody else for that matter. Yeah. Because I believe that our goal should be to be peaceful, to understand one another, to acknowledge one another. And I don't like to use the word tolerate. I like the word allow each other the freedom to live their life according to their beliefs. As long as my beliefs don't infringe upon your beliefs and your beliefs don't infringe upon my beliefs, I think that's a good medium to sort of to arrive at. What do you think?
Yeah, I think that you're talking
a lot of common sense. Most Muslims feel exactly the same way.
We've got a problem at the moment, and we've all seen it. with all the riots at the moment.
Yes.
For me, October the 7th was a massive awakening call. I realised what was going on.
Yeah.
I realised that Hamas...
Did that change your mind? Did that change your
yeah,
mind?
it changed me. I was following Tommy Robinson. I've moved away from Tommy Robinson a few years ago now. I've realised he's a Zionist shill.
Well,
right?
I mean, it also...
And then I saw Suella Braverman, right? When it wasn't
she's not very brave, though, is she?
No. Well, she's married a South African Zionist. They've got kids and they're bringing them up with Zionists, right? And when I'm not going to say they were Muslim marches because
don't use the C word, otherwise we get arrested. Yeah.
What's the C word?
I don't want to. It's a fruit, but we're not allowed to say it because otherwise we get arrested. So don't mention that.
Political Zionism, as far as I go.
Anyway,
yeah. So
it produces nice water, but don't say the word. The actual. God, please, sorry.
Right. So they were marching. I'm not going to say they were Muslims because there was lots of English people marching with them as well, right? And of course, Suella Braverman wanted to weaponise it by saying this is a hate-filled march. They're singing from the river to the sea when originally this is a Zionist song.
Well, the two lines on
and they will not tolerate. So they basically got in a situation where Mark Rowley was told, and it came down as a showdown. But I saw the activation of Tommy Robinson, who'd ceased to become popular, all of a sudden appear and say, and I just went, oh my God, we've got to stop this.
You're getting defeated by the Russian flag, aren't you?
No.
Look, it's
blowing, that's the wind. You know what, we need that because as an Englishman, I'm not a mad dog, an Englishman goes out in the midday sun. Right? I'm sweating and I'm hot and I'm fat.
Just hold it down, James, otherwise it's going to be... Otherwise we're going to be fighting.
So where are we on this, right? I saw Suella Braverman activate Tommy Robinson, activate Nigel Farage, Lawrence Fox, and we was going to Calvin Robinson's church. Activate Calvin Robinson. Well, I wasn't because I don't live in London anymore.
Okay.
But my mate was living in Willesden.
So and he's posh. You moved to the country, have you?
I like to get out. I'm white flight because I was in the BNP. I had kids, and I want to be surrounded by my own people. I want to be because it's natural to be around your own people. Right, and Tony Blair, he goes and destroys the Middle East with George W. and invites these people that are really angry over here and puts them in the front of and that pissed a lot of us off. But I was lucky; I got a mortgage. But a lot of people don't get a mortgage, and I got out, so I became economically
mobile.
Yeah, but it's still. I mean, it's broke my heart. I mean, I'm a Londoner. I come from Paddington, right, and it's broke my heart that I have to move out of London. And nobody speaks English around there. But at the end of the day, I still want to work with people. Right? Now, what I saw...
So one thing I want to just say to you, James, about that. I don't think that sentiment that you've just said is actually racist.
No, it's just...
I actually agree with you that a nice...
Film this, gentleman.
I believe that a nice mix of people,
even
if it is majority white English in an area... I have no issue with that. I think it works quite well, actually, if people are nice to one another.
Yeah.
Right? Now, I think where the mix-up happens, or in terms of why this becomes a political football, is that people don't understand why certain areas perhaps become predominantly, Asian or black or whatever. And it's a multitude of reasons. So in the 80s, when my mum wanted to move up to Yorkshire, we moved into a white area. It was like 99% white.
You wasn't welcome.
And forget welcome. When we went to see the house, the letting agent was showing us the house.
Whereabouts in Yorkshire was this?
Backley.
Oh, Backley,
West Yorkshire,
Yeah, West Yorkshire.
A mob of about...
Close to Leeds, isn't it?
20, very close. About 10 people joined outside. And it was like, dirty packies, go home, you dirty packies.
As a Chelsea supporter, I know what they're like in Leeds.
Their mums were behind them laughing, giggling and everything else. My mum said, I think we might go to a more Asian area. Do you see what I mean?
Yeah.
So what I'm saying is that I acknowledge...
But it's the failure of multiculturalism.
I do acknowledge that from an English point of view, I'm not sort of stereotyping, but if you like eel and mash, and you like your local...
I do like my pie.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then those shops close down, and then it's, Mr. Patel selling his saris, I can understand why that might actually upset people, and it might be something, well, that's not my culture, it's not my cup of tea. But what I'm saying is that there needs to be more...
drink tea.
I understand. But there needs to be a more nuanced discussion as to why these things happen. What the far right sometimes do is they sort of see it as an invasion, like it's deliberate. They don't want to mix.
They present it as
They present it like we don't want to mix.
Let's look at the irony.
You understand what I'm saying?
Let's look at the irony, right? A few years ago, right, after the lockdown, George Floyd got killed accidentally on purpose, right?
On purpose.
And they just come out, everyone was all highly strung, right? And they said, police brutality, Black Lives Matter was born, right? 41 cities burnt down. It was an attempted coup d'etat. I used to be a Donald Trump supporter. Right. But now I know he's a Zionist shill. I don't support him.
You were really on the dark side, weren't you, for a while?
Not really. I mean, Donald Trump...
it's proper Darth Vader territory, that is.
Well, you know, look, anyway, let's just say what happened, right? This was an activation in the West, right, by communists, right, against white people, right, to take away a democratically elected white European in America, right, for the majority people, and of course it spread over here, right, and this was our country pushing. Which is the normal thing.
Do you know why that happened?
There is no white. Well, point I want to say, there is no white privilege if you're white working class. We're just as much under the hill.
That is true.
I'm not saying
that is
so.
True.
What I'm trying to say, most of this sort of thing always happens against white people.
Yeah, but James, you know,
white working class. Now, I just want to move to what happened
one thing,
with Suella Braverman.
Yeah, go on, please.
Because Suella Braverman, when she came out, I was just shocked. There is the establishment encouraging white people to be racist against a certain ethnic group, which are Muslims. And I got it straight away. Israel is going to war with Muslims in the Middle East.
Just hold the flags down.
Israel controls this country through the Israeli lobby. They control America. They control every country in the English-speaking world. And the European Union is under the thumb of the Zionist Anglosphere.
Well, they're bold enough to say it as well.
So now, all of a sudden, they want us to fight their battles.
That's right.
Right?
Pushing
and I'm
boys
like,
on the front.
no,
That's right.
I'm not doing that. Yeah. Right? I now realise you've took my country. You've also made a decision that you're going to depopulate the world to 500 million.
So you didn't mean F off. You meant go away. Yeah.
No, I mean.
No, just for the camera, for the kids.
Yeah. Well, no, you know what? Yeah. I'm a Londoner, mate.
Yeah, I know.
And you don't. I'm not. I mean, that's basically what I mean. What I say.
I understand.
Right? Yeah. And no, I don't like Zionists. Right? I don't like Zionists.
Well, I don't like anyone that wants to control.
My future king, right, Prince William, is married to a woman called Kate Middleton, right?
Yes.
And her mother, her maiden name of her mother, I'll tell you all to get your phones out and find out what Kate Middleton's mother's maiden name is, right? Because our country has been hijacked by Zionism for a couple of 100 years now. The British Empire, I used to be proud of it, was there to trade with the world. It wasn't there to enslave the world. It wasn't there to create the Opium Wars against China. It wasn't there to declare war on the Boers.
Have you heard of the East India?
The East India Company is the prime one I'm talking about, who Rothschild took control of.
Yes.
And we had a trade deficit with China because we was buying Chinese tea and they didn't want to buy nothing off us. So it was he had to balance the books.
We should have sold them.
So he sold them opium. He sold them opium.
Should have given them jelly deals.
And created the Opium Wars. Yeah. But you know, we get our jelly deals from New Zealand now, right? And of course, every time they discovered gold and diamonds in South Africa, we declare war on the Boers, right? And that was Cecil Rhodes. This is where the Freemasons came in 1877. Look it up, and of course, all our chief constables are Freemasons.
It took you October 7th to realise this. We've known this for...
I know you guys are much more... And I grew
nippers.
up with all the Jamaicans, the West Indians, because I come from Paddington, right next to the Notting Hill Carnival. And they all know, none of them took the vaccine. They all knew what was going on, right? And when I go back and see them all, I'll give them my newspaper, get the newspaper out, give these gentlemen a newspaper, right? And, you can have one. You've got the free by the looks of it there. Right. This is all three of them. They're one a month.
Oh, they're one a month.
Yeah, I know. You can have one.
That's a lot of reading.
Yeah, sir.
Is this a Russian flag you're holding?
Yes, it is. It's an Imperial Russian.
Are you Russian?
No, I'm English. There's my son. He's holding the Union Jack. So I'm a nationalist. But I recognise that Russia is not communist anymore. They've become a Christian country. They're working with Islam. I'm hoping that he comes along with that, the Chechens. But anyway, there's a lot of Dagestanis, there's a lot of Muslims in Russia, and they're happy to work.
You're patronising, you don't have to do that.
Anyway, right, and the other thing is, right, that Russia is not the aggressor in the war.
Russia's not an aggressor.
No, this NATO expansion is evil. NATO should have been disbanded at the end of the Cold War.
There are two different things. NATO expansion, all the way to
James, it was a pleasure to hear you.
Sorry, I'm still here if you want to talk to me.
No, yeah, I mean, look, there's a lot of stuff that you've said that I actually agree with.
Thank you.
Maybe some that I disagree with. But as far as our politicians are concerned,
they're scum.
And the American administration is concerned, you only have to look at AIPAC and how they fund and who they fund.
The Israeli lobby rules the roost.
And in fact, you know what it is? The alarming thing is that they're so bold now that they actually say that you can't do anything because we control all of your countries.
Yeah.
They actually say it. They rub our noses in it.
That you are one of those people who realise that the white working class are being manipulated. The attempt is there to manipulate them to behave in a way
and I'm
that
a figure amongst the white working class,
and
I'm hoping that they listen to me, and we can draw them away with Nick Cotton, who's here. I came down here to see Nick Cotton, and draw them away from Tommy Robinson, draw them away from Nigel Farage, because he's put the BFI.
Well, because they're both funded.
You know what the BFI is, don't you?
We know where they're funded.
The British Friends of Israel. So we haven't just got the CFI in the Conservative Party or the LFI in the Labour Party. We now got the BFI in Nigel Farage's party.
Are you saying this is a new phenomenon?
No,
no. He figured it out after 7th of October.
We had Cafe Newman.
He was quite honest. He said he figured it out after.
I've only had a comprehensive education. They made sure the working classes in this country wasn't educated very well.
Well, the fact that you figured it out, and
I've got a good brain on my body.
There's all these brain boxes that haven't figured it out.
It still took me a long time to work it out, but I'm not going to be manipulated by a cokehead like Tommy Robinson, right? I mean, the guy is a joke, right? He's committing treason. He's a traitor. He's working for a foreign country, right, to bring down this country, right?
Yeah.
And look, the main thing is, Tommy Robinson and Nigel Farage claim they don't want no more Muslims in this country. Well, what's happening at southern Gaza is that the Israelis have been trying to push them out into the Sinai Desert, where Anthony Blinken, and I'm not going to call him Jacob Sullivan, were negotiating with the Egyptian president, right, who they put in, right? He's meant to be a puppet, but he knows he gets stringed up by the Egyptian people if he goes along with it, and put him in Tent City. And at the same time, Blinken and Sullivan were over in France and Germany. Didn't have to come to Britain because they've already agreed to it, right? To take all these Muslim refugees in Palestine that are fighting for their country, in a way like I'm fighting for my country.
Do you think? Because the way you speak, a simple question. It seems like you found a foothold of having a moral stand to say what's happening elsewhere.
You've just interrupted me about undermining Tommy Robinson and Nigel Farage.
No, I just want...
They are trying to say that they don't want more Muslims coming in this country. And if they back Israel, if they back Israel, those Palestinians that are fighting for their country will be pushed into the Sinai Desert and sent to France, Germany, Britain and Ireland.
There you go.
Well, he's majority.
No, but he's majority. No, what I'm saying to you.
This is the claim.
Majority of people.
False claim.
Majority of the European people. You don't know.
You can't make a generalization.
Listen.
By the way, right, you come over.
The racists themselves
hold on.
make this claim about the majority.
Majority. No, of course it's not.
Which majority have you done of the majority?
The European people.
Who have you made?
European people. Yes, I can. Because I'm European.
No, it doesn't make a difference. You're individual.
European people.
You can't make generalizations.
European people do not
Where'd you
want
come
to
from?
see Islamic
problem.
influence in Europe.
Listen, look, Poles are great Christians.
There we go.
But Poles are great Christians, right? It was the Poles that stopped Suleiman the Magnificent smashing through the gates of Vienna, right?
That's right.
With their 70,000
We are the ones to defeat Ottoman Empire.
Right, but you know what?
You don't even know history.
You're in the European
You don't even
Union.
know history.
Yeah, all right. Well, look, let's face what we're facing now, right?
Yeah.
Is that we're facing
Ottoman Empire wasn't a collapse for
the
300
European
400
Union, right? That wants to
years
flood
before
your
that.
country,
You don't know what
and
you're
you've
talking
all
about.
voted in Donald Tusk. Like we've all voted in that idiot Keir Starliner. Right?
Yeah.
He wants to destroy this country. Donald Tusk is a European to these
You're right, yeah.
to the
He's
toes.
on the German services.
So he's going to destroy your country, right? And with mass immigration, whatever. He started off with Ukrainians,
James,
right?
You know the irony here. Yeah.
The irony here, go on.
The irony here is you have statements like what he just made there, right? You have probably 30, 40 minimum years. Before that, the colonial enterprise was already spreading things about the Saracens. They claimed that they were killing babies and consuming babies. This is why the Pope allowed the Crusades. And in fact, the Pope said, whatever you do on the Crusades has already been forgiven. So they butchered the Jews and they butchered the Muslims when they went in.
There was a lot of blood.
Now, in recent times, you have the Zionist-controlled media that report 99 out of every stories that you'll hear will be propaganda, nonsense and lies about Muslims. And then you'll have jokers like him saying,
jokers.
Most people...
Don't be horrible, don't be horrible.
Let there be a referendum. Let there be a referendum.
Most people...
I've got to back him up now.
Let there be a referendum.
Most people...
He was quiet and he was listening to
Most
you.
people, James, most people don't want Muslims in Europe. Now guess what? If I was a non-Muslim, and I heard all this trollop, this propaganda for the last 20 or 30 years, maybe I would rush to that conclusion as well. But the reality is, but you know what, James? But the reality here is, would I arrive at that conclusion on the basis of objective truth and knowledge?
Of course.
Or am I going to be a gullible fool who has been played by like a puppet by the media, and I'm going to believe the lies that I have been told?
No media necessary.
So now, for 30 or 40 years, you feed the people manure, and then you expect them to burp flowers. It's not going to happen.
Let there be a referendum.
You're going to have a bad breath, my
across
friend.
Europe, starting
You're gonna
from
have a bad
Britain.
breath.
Let there be a referendum.
Then you can-
And you're going to be out for a big
I'll tell you what
surprise.
you do.
You're
I'll tell you
going
what
to be
you
out
do.
for a big surprise.
I'm happy for that. I'm happy for that.
Majority
Okay.
of European
I'm happy.
people
After
do
hold
not
on,
wish
Make
to
you know what,
have
James?
Muslim immigration
I'm happy.
in Europe.
Let's have the
If I'm
referendum.
wrong,
No,
if I'm wrong, I will publicly apologize. I call myself a fool.
Okay, so I'm happy.
Majority
I'm
of
happy.
people would say
Just relax
no
for a second.
more.
Relax.
for the apology.
I'm happy for the
relaxed.
referendum. Yeah, I'm happy for the referendum.
For
First,
Islamic
hold on. First
immigration
undo.
to Europe.
First undo the last 30 or 40 years of your propaganda.
Can I just say something
Teach
now?
the people exactly what Islam
There
stands
has been
for.
no Islamic
No,
invasion
James,
of
let me
Europe.
just finish.
What?
Teach the
Wait,
people,
I'll explain.
teach the people exactly what Islam stands for. Not this caricature that the Zionists and the right wing have portrayed Muslims to be. And then let's have the referendum. You wanna basically program the people. You want to, hypnotize, mesmerize the people into believing certain things, and now you want to claim that you want to have this referendum.
Yes.
What sort of a referendum would that be?
Right, can I say-
What sort of a referendum would that
Islamic
be?
immigration to Europe.
It's
Let me
not-
just say something now, right? No Muslims have invaded Europe in this
What?
last 30. They've been invited in by
They're not
corrupt
invited in.
Zionist
Don't tell him
countries.
that, he gets upset
Right,
if you say
but not,
that.
so
I'm
you
not
have an
upset
alien
at all.
Poland.
He doesn't
We
like
don't hear, right?
facts.
Our government, right, is Zionist controlled. If not,
how
David
Ask him if he
David
believes
Cameron
that.
is a Zionist.
Ask him if you
His
believe.
mother's
You
a
believe that?
Zionist, right?
You believe that when
David
Zionist
Cameron.
control?
Yeah, it will be Zionist control. There will be not a single Muslim in
Yeah,
Britain.
no,
Finish, yeah.
James.
Boris
Zionism?
Johnson is a
James.
Zionist.
What is Zionism? Define Zionism for me.
Zionism is a political ideology invented by Theodore Herzl, and it's a supremacist ideology.
No, so James,
is
he
it
thinks the Zionists don't control us.
Why are you supremacists?
Because they believe they would never negotiate
I
with
suppose it's
Palestinians.
nice to have your head stuck so
They
deep
believe
in the
they're
sand.
better.
No.
And this
You
is
don't
war.
understand.
At least it's
You
war.
don't understand the nature and the mood of the European people.
How is it
European people are actually very
Right.
specific in
You're
nature.
speaking for
What do
Europeans.
you mean? What do you mean?
You're speaking for
You
Europeans.
see?
You don't
You
even look
see?
European
You see?
anyway.
Doesn't matter.
You don't even look European.
I'm actually from European aristocracy.
You don't look- you
I'm
don't
from
look-
European
you don't look
aristocracy.
Middle Eastern.
And that makes you feel like that.
You look Middle Eastern.
That's all right. I take it as a compliment. I take it as a compliment.
Some genetics there.
What?
So you'd be kicked out as well.
I take it as a compliment.
They lost you to
There was
Palestine.
there was.
Because
no,
you're
listen.
hardly an Aryan, are you?
Yeah,
Well,
what do you
you
mean?
can be kicked out of Europe as well.
Yeah,
into
sure.
Palestine, but that meant Rothschilds had to
Anyway,
pay for it.
all I'm
Just
saying to
say-
listen,
say
change
colour.
listen,
ideology.
listen.
You're
Yeah,
right.
sure.
And he's
I take
right.
it with pride. You take it with insecurity. That's the difference
Not at
between
all.
us.
Not at all. Why
Because I'll tell you why. Because I don't pay attention to it, and you do. That's why.
You're the one who
Who brought
mentioned
this
it.
up?
You're
Who brought
the
this
one
up
who
on
mentioned it.
camera?
You're
You
the
are
one
the
who
one
mentioned
to
it.
bring it up.
I don't know why you're
You're the
laughing
one
at
to bring it
yourself.
up because you made yourself a
laughing-
fool
you're laughing at
camera.
yourself.
Yes.
You're laughing at yourself.
One second.
Yeah.
You're making claims about the mood of the European people.
Don't cry.
Anti-Semitic
Don't cry.
You haven't defined Zionism.
I'll give you a hug.
Whatever they wanted to make.
I will give you a hug. I will give you a hug. I love you.
He cannot
I
define
love
it.
you.
Maybe he can define it. But you are just
I love you.
anti-Semitic.
I love
On
you.
your chest.
You know?
You might get a bit more manly hair. You haven't got enough hair. You're too girly.
I'm a Moroccan.
Put some fat on your chest and get some more hair. You're not manly enough. Yes.
Stop patronizing Muslims. Ask yourself a question. Ask yourself, say publicly.
Now, what I don't want, I don't want a 30-year war.
From the people that you know, you grew up with. You tell me, if there be a referendum, do you want Islamic immigration to Europe? Majority of people you grew up with, that you know.
Nobody, everyone would say no.
Thank you. Did you hear it?
He knows I was in the BNP. He knows I was in the BNP. I am a nationalist.
Yeah. That's not my question.
Yeah, but that is basically...
That's for you to be ashamed of.
Why should I be ashamed? I'm ashamed of... I was
being
right. I was proven right. Because the corrupt British establishment have poured so many... They're out to destroy...
You're mixing ideas. We're mixing idea now.
I mean, you don't disagree with that, do you?
Disagree with what?
The fact
James,
that immigration
we're
is
having
so
a nice
high in this
conversation,
country.
James.
Right?
We're having a nice conversation, and then it erupts into a shouting match.
Well, he's shouting, yeah.
I know, but you know what I mean. This
It's a
is
speaker's corner.
this
Yeah,
is
we don't have to shout.
We debate.
yeah, I know.
We debate.
I know, but you don't have to lose
Yes,
your
I
manners.
expose you and you
Just because speaker's
because
corner.
you spoke of race.
You know, in Urdu we
I
have this
didn't and you
saying.
have.
In Urdu we have this saying. Yeah.
Europeans are
Of course they're race. Like there's a black race.
Exactly.
We're white people.
This when you want to make the distinction,
You're not white
Yes.
though.
you make
Okay.
the distinction.
You're
When you
a
don't want to
wannabe.
make
Why
the
you
distinction,
plus me?
you don't
You
want
white
to
people
be
plus me.
white. Why you
All my
begging to be
kids,
white?
many of my
You
kids
don't
have blue eyes and blonde
Why are
hair.
you begging to be
All
white?
I'm
when you're
saying
not white? I
is,
don't
all I'm
understand.
saying is,
You have
all I'm
this
saying you have to
complex.
be in a state of
You have this
reality.
complex.
You have to be state of
You don't understand
reality.
reality.
Yes, I do.
You're making claims
No,
without a referendum.
no. This
You're
guy
making
himself,
claims- You're
this
making
guy.
claims.
So, I hope this goes viral
If you're
and
making claims-
let
making claims-
European people have the voice. Let European people have the voice.
You're making
Do they
claims without
want?
evidence.
Do they
You're
want
making claims
Paris
You don't have to
to
shout.
turn to
You don't have to
Marrakesh?
We have a microphone.
You're
Okay,
making claims
okay.
without evidence.
We have a
Do they
microphone.
want?
making
Do they
claims.
want? Do they want
making
Paris
claims. You need to speak
to
directly to
turn
the people.
to
You're making
Marrakesh?
claims without
Do they
evidence.
want Marseille
You're
to
making
turn to
claims
Marrakesh?
without evidence.
Do they want London
You're making
to turn
claims
to
without
Marrakesh?
evidence. Not Marrakesh, it's Marrakesh. At least get the speed.
Either way, either way.
You don't even know the words you're
Yeah.
saying coming out of your mouth.
You say
Marrakesh is lovely.
Macarena is a dance.
And you would find out,
invented a new
and you would
place.
find out,
Macarena.
the majority of
Yeah.
European
Saying.
majority of European people do not want Islamic immigration.
You make
You'll
the
find out
claim without
really
evidence.
fast. It's
Right, why are
really
you
fast.
wasting your time?
The
Yes.
problem here is
Yes.
this is common
The problem
tactic.
is this is
One of the
typical
common
religious
tactics that we
mentality.
say-
Oh
one
no,
of the-
government says
one
it's
of the
okay,
common-
so I'm okay.
one of the
No,
common
Why don't you
tactics-
it's not okay.
Why don't you allow people
It's
to
not
talk? What are
okay.
you
We know
scared
your
of?
position.
It's not
What are you
okay.
scared of?
Common claim.
Scared of.
Why don't you let him
Have
talk?
a conversation.
Okay.
Have a conversation.
Okay.
So that means you have to listen to each other.
I'm listening.
You're making a claim, and you've made this claim repeatedly throughout this discussion for the European people.
That's right.
No evidence.
From Greece
no
to
evidence.
Finland, Sweden,
Evidence.
Britain, Ireland.
Evidence and evidence. No
Evidence.
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 You said,
It's never gonna
I tell
happen.
you.
He's got evidence.
I tell you.
I tell
Daily
you.
Mail. Daily Mail.
What
You
you
see,
need. How
you
many
got
seconds?
to.
Let me
That's
speak.
evidence.
That's how you
What you
can
need.
tell.
Mail.
You're making a
But it's
claim.
not
how you
point.
can
Immigration
tell.
has always been
No,
unpopular.
that's what you
amongst-
need.
I heard you. I heard you.
No, you haven't heard me. You're not listening to what I'm saying.
I heard you.
You said there needs to be a referendum.
Yes.
Go for it. Make the referendum.
Yeah.
Then you can make the claim about Europe.
Yeah.
Until then,
Yeah.
just say,
Yeah.
I'm someone who doesn't like Muslim people, because that's what you
Who
are.
told you I don't like Muslim people?
And you don't want them to come into Europe.
Who
Then
ever
you can
said?
make an individual
Show
claim.
me when did I ever say I don't like Muslim people?
You
I
have
like Muslim people.
If you want to make a generalization,
No.
you need
No.
evidence for that generalization.
No, you
can't
clearly-
take your personal
No.
views.
No,
You can't take your personal views. You can't take
I
your
come
personal
here
views.
as exercising my right here. I didn't come as a refugee. Yeah, so what? So what? You're getting insecurity. Now you're getting insecurity. What do you mean? Because government says this is the proof. This is the proof. This is the proof.
Okay, all right.
This is the
Right,
proof.
Ignore him.
You see,
James,
European people.
Just ignore him.
Here's a European person. I'm
I'm not you, I'm a Brit.
Don't worry, you're not going to be able
Okay.
to.
of
Yeah.
European
We're separate.
origin.
We're on an island, separate from Europe.
Yeah. So if you put in
Well, see, after
Wikipedia,
you have to recommend
hold
them.
on. If you're going to put on any information,
Racially, we are
what's
Europeans.
Britain? Oh, thank you.
I'm not
Thank you.
talking
So are
racially.
European.
I'm not
He's
racially
So
talking.
I'm asking a
James,
that's nothing to
James,
do
James.
with race.
James,
That's
let's
nothing
not
to
talk
do
the
with
bigot. Let's
race.
just have a
Anyway,
discussion.
it's about religion. I'm asking simple questions.
James, let's forget
Okay,
what
so
Let
listen.
Charles ask one question.
It's a very
One
simple
question.
question.
Without
You see,
shouting,
they
talk.
cannot understand. They cannot understand because no matter what passport you hold, that European people are not happy
Making claims
with
about European
Islamic.
people
no,
again.
I'm asking. Are you
You're
happy?
making claims about
are you
European
happy
people again.
with the
Without
influx
evidence.
of them? Thank you.
He's in the whole of Europe.
Thank you.
He's in the whole of Europe.
Anywhere.
He's in the whole of
There are
Europe.
two of us. and now you have already
okay, so you
more.
prove your point
Yeah.
then. What? I mean, there's two of him, so therefore the whole of Europe thinks like you.
What I'm saying, I mean, it's different in
James,
Poland. What's done, it's
James,
been done.
Immigration,
No, European. What are you
immigration.
talking about? I'm asking about
has-
European people.
Dude, we're not having a discussion with you anymore. We're not talking to him anymore. Brother, we're not talking to him
You
anymore.
hate European, not by
James,
not by
Can
nature.
we come over here?
Only because you're born
Imran,
here
please,
doesn't mean
leave it,
you're
leave
out of it.
James,
Being born here
immigration,
doesn't mean you're out of it. Yes,
immigration.
government can give you passports.
Dude, we're not speaking to you
doesn't
anymore.
mean you're out of
We're not
it.
talking to you anymore.
European people
Bye-bye.
do not
Bye-bye.
want Islamic
Bye-bye.
immigration.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Yes. Where is
James.
bye-bye? You can go.
The
You're free to
conversation,
go.
no.
What?
You
How's
came
the
here.
race?
You came
How's the
here.
race? How is that a race?
Just let the bigot go.
Islam
James.
is comprised of
James.
many races. White,
He won't let us
black,
have a conversation.
brown, Asian, you name it. There's no
Have you got this
racism
gentleman
in
I
in
what
didn't check if
say.
he's got any teeth.
There's not a
Usually
single
they're missing a
racist
few
thing.
teeth as well when they have
Well, I'm
Not
63, I've still got
and
one.
here is the other way. Is the devil that spears the holy Russia.
Oh,
So
there we
today,
go.
Russia. This is reversed today.
No manners.
Reverse.
You've got
Just
no
like
manners.
Hitler reversed
you got no
swastika from
manners.
Hinduism.
You've got no
Today,
manners.
Russia
You're so
reversed the
desperate. You're so
symbol
desperate.
that is the
You're
evil
so desperate
that
for a conversation
pierces
that you have
Mother Russia.
to force
That
your
is the
conversation.
fact.
Stop shouting.
James, ignore him because it's not worth it. Yeah, honestly, the guy's a complete plonker. Now listen, James, immigration has always been a problem.